Happy opening day, everybody. It's finally here. It took a little longer than we expected or wanted, but it's time for some Mariners baseball. And for those of you who are new, yes, I do make some Mariners content on this channel. Not that much, but enough to get you through the season. So I will be bringing back the same schedule from last year where I made a video once every 10 games, and we will do occasional streams of games. I might stream the entire home opener, and I may stream the occasional ninth inning of a close game if I want to see if the Mariners can, close it out or not. You'll probably see some stuff like that from me this year again. So obviously, not everyone on this channel is a fan of the Mariners. Not everyone is even into baseball. So there's going to be a few pieces of content over the next several months that probably are not really of interest to you. But for those of you who are interested, Mariners content is back for 2022. And when this video goes up, first pitch is going to be just like less than 15 minutes away. So the season's just about to get started. And I think most of the people who follow this team and root for this team already kind of know that this is supposed to be the year where we have a little bit of a breakthrough. This is supposed to be the year where we finally at least make the playoffs. We went out and spent pretty big in the offseason, brought in an ace pitcher, traded for a couple of bats that are better than what we had before, and it seems like now is the time. And there's a lot of stuff to be excited about, a lot of stuff to be enthusiastic about, and I do like this team. I wish we had maybe gotten one more bat so that way we'd have a little more flexibility with pinch hitting, which we had none of last year. But I'm pretty satisfied with what this team did this offseason, and I think it will translate to good results on the diamond. So I want to run through the various aspects of this team just to talk about things in a more general sense. Um, I again, I think we did a pretty good job this offseason. The Robbie Ray thing was pretty huge. I'm not mad about what we did in terms of filling out the lineup because we did address some of our needs. We kept Haniger and we added Winker and Suarez, who are both going to be significant additions to this lineup. But I do wonder if maybe there was enough money to make a play at Chris Bryant or even Trevor Story just so you could have one more bat, which as of right now, I'm still looking at this lineup and wondering who are going to be. Do we have enough pinch hitters? Because again, we basically did not have a pinch hitter at all last year. Nobody could do it. All right, so the starting pitching: Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, Marco Gonzalez, Chris Flexen, and Matt Brash. The only real unknown in this group is Matt Brash. He's I don't think he's even pitched at AAA yet. I think that he did very well in AA, and we've decided to go ahead and give him the number 5 slot now. A lot of people expected it was maybe going to be Kirby. A lot of people thought that maybe we were going to bring back a guy like a Tyler Anderson to be the to hold it over, but he went to I think the Dodgers. So I'll say for my part, I have about as much confidence as I can reasonably have in the first 4 guys. Like Robbie Ray was one of the best pitchers in baseball last year. Of course, you're going to see some regression, especially with how he plays, but I don't think you're going to see massive regression. Logan Gilbert impressed me for the most part last year, so I trust him. Marco's been overall a really good pitcher since he got here over across several years. And Flexen, I think, was underrated and solid for us last year. So no guarantee that they all work out or even that any of them work out. But as of right now, I like all 4 of those guys. Part of me does wonder if it's too much too soon for Matt Brash. I know that he played very well in college, and I know he did some good stuff in what's it called, Peoria. And again, he did well in AA last year, I think it was, but he hasn't even pitched in AAA yet, to my knowledge. So it feels like it's a little too soon. The bullpen, we still have Diego Castillo from last year, the trade, where I mean, the Diego Castillo experience was very confusing. I know he's a good player. I know that he is probably better than anything else that we have as far as closing goes, but there is something uncomfortable about him, comparing him to what we had last year before we traded him to the Astros. Can't remember his dang name all of a sudden, but so this bullpen we lost Sadler, and that has kind of made me a little uncomfortable with the bullpen. We signed Sergio Romo, but I don't know how much he has left. I like Sewald. Steckenrider, I'll give a shot. Swanson was mostly pretty good. Sheffield, I guess we're taking him out of the starting lineup and we're going to try him in the bullpen. I'm willing to try that. I think Andres Munoz is interesting as well, but I feel like we're one guy short with Sadler being out, and that's a significant blow to this bullpen in my estimation. Now, putting together a bullpen is something that any competent front office should be able to do. So if we need to add a guy later, I'm sure we will. Okay, now let's go ahead and get to the lineup here. Let's try to get a feel for what kind of lineup we're going to be sporting. So catcher, right now it looks like we're carrying three: Murphy, Riley. I'm just going to call him Riley, and Luis Torrens. Torrens, he can't be behind home plate. Okay, Torrens needs to be in the lineup as a DH or a first baseman, but he cannot be behind the plate. He is, in my experience of watching him, awful behind the plate. So I don't view him as a catcher at this point. I know physically he can do it, but I really want to see Cal get good enough with his bat to earn more or less full-time play behind the plate. And maybe Torrens can play occasionally, but I might rather have Murphy back there. It's a close call. Murphy, I guess he's expected to start initially, but I'm really hoping that Cal can take the starting job from those guys and be somebody who is a starter the majority of the time behind the plate. His bat just needs to get a little bit better, and it's fine. But to me, Tom Murphy is kind of not... I don't see a lot of upside there. He doesn't have a very good bat. And Torrens, we need his bat, but behind the plate, it's a mess. Infielders. So we got 6 right now. Crawford, France, Frazier, and I guess Suarez. Those 4 are probably going to be the starters, if I had to guess. And then Dylan Moore comes in off the bench as a utility player who can also play in the outfield some. And then you have Toro, who I don't know. I don't know what to think of Toro. He was awesome when we made the trade last year, but by the end of the season, he had slowed down so much, his Ops Plus actually fell below 100, despite it being up to like 180 at one point. So if you look at what he did at Houston, it wasn't that good. So the odds are decent that he's just a decent player who caught fire when the trade happened, but he's going to revert back to the mean over the course of his career. So I want to see Toro as a pinch hitter and a utility player for the outfield, and maybe infield occasionally for the outfield. But I'm really hoping we can find a way to make it work with a starting infield of Crawford, Frazier, France, and Suarez. I know Suarez is bad on defense, but he's probably the best we have at third base right now. Crawford and Frazier should be a really good double play team, and France at first is fine. So those are the infielders. The outfielders, this is going to be kind of hard to work out. So first of all, we got to talk about behind the plate here. I'm sorry, at the plate, in the batter's box. We have 4 guys who project to be plus hitters. Now, one of them is Julio, who's very young. He's a rookie. I didn't expect him to be called up yet, but now that he's here, we do need to play him. We need to see if he can do the things that he is promised, that has been promised. So we need to get him out there. Kelnick ended up rallying to have a pretty good year last year after starting out super cold in a way that I was worried was going to kind of derail him. It did not. We need to play him. Haniger's probably our best overall hitter. We need to play him. And we just made a fairly significant trade for Jesse Winker. We need to play him. So we've got 4 guys and 3 outfield spots. It's going to be kind of hard. I want to see all 4 of these guys get a lot of at-bats this year. Now, again, if you've got some depth at the pinch hit spot, that's cool. But who of these 4 guys is going to be the pinch hitter? And what are you going to do about the defense? Julio just got here. He's definitely going to make mistakes in the outfield because he's a kid. He's almost young enough to be my son. So that's an issue. Winker, not very good in the outfield as of right now. You might see him play a decent amount of DH, but the thing is, we have shoot, I'm blanking on the name. What am I doing? Torrens. He needs to DH a lot as well. So it's going to be kind of hard to make this work. Ideally, I guess Winker would be the pinch hitter and somebody who sits on the bench until maybe big at-bats at the end of the game. But it's going to be hard to balance all this out. I think Haniger's decent in the field. Kelenic is probably going to be good, but right now he's not. And then, of course, you have the Kyle Lewis question. You have to wonder if and when he'll ever be ready. But these are some good problems to have in some regards. But we also have to be concerned a little bit about making sure we put everybody in the best possible situation to succeed. If we've got Dylan Moore, Abraham Toro, and Jesse Winker as our top pinch hitters and top utility players in the event of an injury or need for rest, then that's cool. But it's a balancing act that you have to manage. Just because it's a good problem to have doesn't change the fact that you need to deal with it. RotoChamp projects our starting lineup to be Frazier, and then France in the 2-hole, Winker in the 3-hole, Haniger in the 4-hole, Suarez, Julio, Kelenic, Murphy, and Crawford. So they're thinking that Murphy's going to start the season, which is certainly interesting. And they're also projecting that Winker gets the nod as the DH, which makes sense. You did just trade for him. But I have a little bit of a concern here in that I definitely want Torrens to get a lot of at-bats, but I don't want to put him at catcher. So you definitely don't want to take the bat away from France. He might be our best overall hitter. It's debatable. I would take Mitch, but it's close. And Winker is, I mean, you traded for him. You got to get him out there, right? You gotta give him a chance to be who he is. So I'm not exactly sure how this is all going to shake out. Life would be a lot easier if Torrens suddenly became even like a below average catcher. I just need him to not be really bad. If Torrens could hold up a little bit behind the plate, where maybe you're giving, I don't know, maybe you're giving Cal 70% of the starts behind the plate, and then Torrens 30%, and they can both manage the game well in that regard, then you've really got something. But to me, maybe the linchpin to this whole season is Torrens being able to hold up at catcher. And then you can get a really nice rotation going. All right, so that's it for me. Mariners are just about to get underway. If you started watching this video right when I uploaded it, first pitch should be coming up any minute now, or maybe it just happened. So we're going to do Mariners content this year. See you guys later. I'm not going to be able to stream this first game, but I will be streaming a game in the future, and I'll stream some ninth innings. All right. See you guys later. Go Mariners, and let's try to have a good season this year, guys.